Throughout the history of Kamen Rider, there have been many riders and forms seen on the screen in the series itself, countless movies, and direct-to-video specials. Even YouTube specials are mentioned in novels. But there is a section of Kamen Riders seen only in what are known as stage shows. Essentially, these are plays that feature the characters and the suits from a particular rider series. A lot of these are in the final stages, which are productions that happen following the end of a rider series. Sometimes these are canon to the events of the series, though usually it's up for debates. While V-Cinext films and even the final episodes of Rider series are known for their trend of taking pre-existing rider suits and giving them a new paint job or a minor retooling, these stage shows are known for doing the same thing. The difference is that often these V-Cinext forms are accessed with a gimmick item released alongside the Blu-ray of the film, and often last-minute series forms are released on the Premium Bandai website, but stage show forms almost get no toy recognition whatsoever. Today, we will be taking a look at the many stage show exclusive riders and forms seen throughout the Kamen Rider franchise and give them some of the recognition that they deserve. The final stages at the end of the Kamen Rider series are the modern tradition for each rider series to get, and this is where the typical stage show riders and forms come from, but there were a few precursors to today's versions of them that deserve to be mentioned. Some of the earliest stage show riders come from Kamen Rider Ryuki from 2002. Now, Ryuki was already quite full with its cast of many different riders, 13 in the original series. So why not just throw in not one, but two more additional riders in the stage show capacity? Meet Kamen Rider Cerberus and Kamen Rider Paleon. There is not much info on these riders whatsoever, as they were only from a very early Ryuki stage show. Despite no confirmation, it's assumed that Cerberus and Paleon could have been based off of the Mirror Monsters Wild Border and Sheer Ghost, though these are just possible options for their contract monsters. For this rider duo, the only existing images of these obscure riders don't give us the best look at their suits. But I do gotta wonder, what would their Avid decks look like? In Kamen Rider Phis, there was already a number of riders named after letters in the Greek alphabet, from Phi, Delta, Chi, Psi, and Omega. But did you ever want more riders for some of those other letters? Well, the Phi stage shows had you covered. Kamen Riders Alpha, Beta, and Gamma appeared in the Kamen Rider Phis vs. Delta stage show. These were a trio of riders that were part of a special force of Smart Brain that got in the way of Kamen Rider Phis and Kaiza in this production. Alpha and Beta don't look all that much like normal Phis riders, but Kamen Rider Gamma looks like if either Kamen Rider Kuga or Agito became a Phis rider, with the horns on the helmet and the green lines around the suit. And Phis would be the first rider series to get multiple stage shows with exclusive riders. In Kamen Rider Phis stage Kyukoku Battle Kamen Rider Chokessen, there will be two more riders, Dark Slasher, which is finally a stage show rider with a somewhat decent picture of them. They sort of have a ladybug themed rider using a Phis design. This stage show also had a rider called, well, Dark Rider. And wait a minute, that's just the suit for Kamen Rider Alpha. Did they think that no one was going to notice that? Phis was also the first stage show experience to feature new forms for pre-existing Kamen Riders. Technically. In one stage show, Kamen Rider Super Live Cho Henshin Battle, it featured the villain Bioroid Dark, who turned returning riders Kuga, Agito, and Ryuki into gray statue forms under mind control to fight Kamen Rider Phis. These forms are just all silver/gray forms of their original suits, which sort of look like those all-gold candy toy Kamen Rider statues, but in an actual suit form. Moving on to Kamen Rider Blade from 2004, there was one rider that appeared in the Kamen Rider Chun Shingata show known as Kamen Rider Killer, and oh come on, they used the suit for a third time. On to Hibiki. Despite having tons of riders in the series with such similar names that I have a hard time remembering, Hibiki had to have a couple of series of stage shows known as Kamen Rider Hibiki Special Show. In a few of these episodes, a couple of new riders appear to add to Hibiki's ever-growing list of riders. Kamen Rider Mujaki, Kamen Rider Kagayaki, Kamen Rider Jockey, and Kamen Rider Yuki. Jockey got the honor of appearing in 2 of the episodes in this special show, so good for him. Kamen Rider Kabuto had a Kamen Rider Lady and Kamen Rider Chop Hopper, Lady's basically a more armored looking version of Electro Wave Human Tackle from Kamen Rider Stronger, while Chop Hopper is looking ready for trick or treat or something.
Kamen Riders. Toku. 通り過ぎた仮面ライダーずっこケイドだ覚えておけ
Now we get to the good stuff. In a Kamen Rider Decade stage show, we had Kamen Rider Zukokade. This rider was very interesting, as he is shown having his own Zukote ride powers against Decade, such as a double attack, Fangire card to summon a Fangire, and Super Sword to give him a weapon. By the time we get to Kamen Rider Fourze, the final stages era of stage shows had been a tradition for a couple of years. Sometimes in these, the different forms of a certain rider would all appear on stage at one time, by having side characters from the series, each transforming into a different form to help the main rider. In the Fourze final stage, all of the Kamen Rider Club members transformed into Fourze Elec, Fire, Magnet, and Cosmic states respectively. There was also a stage show rider featured in another Fourze stage show known as Boot, who featured some sort of version of the Fourze driver but repainted. It was kind of like Kamen Rider Nadeshiko's driver, in which Boots had 2 of the Astro Switch slots sealed off for an unknown reason. In the Kamen Rider Wizard final stage, we were introduced to Kamen Rider Dark Wizard, a purple evil version of Wizard's base form, Flame Style. Here is when the stage show riders and forms started to really use repainted suits from the series proper. Dark Wizard is the first of these stage show riders to actually get merchandise as well, because he was featured in the Kamen Rider Butsubuso Metal game. Kamen Rider Gaim final stage introduced us to Kamen Rider Maja, who is an evil counterpart to DJ Sagara from the series. He used a retooled / repainted suit from Kamen Rider 15 from the Kamen Rider Tyson film, and like Dark Wizard, he also received a Budobuso medal and will actually be the first stage show rider to get represented in the Complete Selection modification line, as voice phrases from his character are programmed into the CSM Sengoku driver, and an eventual lock seat and faceplate set has been confirmed to be released for him in the future. In the stage show early on, Maja overpowers Gaim, and resorts him to a memory loss, moldy-like orange arms form, with a white and blue repaint of his original orange arms. This was sort of the first time we got an actual new form for a base rider from the series in a stage show. Gaim was a unique situation, however, as years after the show ended in 2019, we got the Gaim Gaiden Zangetsu stage play, which had a number of stage show exclusive riders. The main suit first seen here was Kamen Rider Zangetsu Kachidoki Arms, which was basically just a repaint of Gaim's Kachidoki Arms, but on the Zangetsu base body. This actually received a deluxe ride watch released during the Geo toy line, which was released alongside the Blu-ray for this play. The suit became popular enough to actually receive an SH Figuarts release, and was eventually pushed from the realm of stage show exclusive to actually appearing in the main media, because it had a cameo in both Kamen Rider Geo over Quartzer's movie, and then it actually appeared in the main Gaim canon in 2020's Gaim Gaiden Grid-On vs. Bravo miniseries. But also in the Gaim Gaiden Zangetsu play was the prototype riders of Proto Gaim, Proto Baron, Proto Ryugen, Proto Grid-On, and Proto Bravo. Most of these were just black repaints of the original suits, but they also received a bit of merchandise, technically. SH Figuarts were shown off of them, just prototypes, but they were never released. However, they were included as features of the CSM faceplates for the Sengoku driver to recreate their black and white rider faceplates.
Lock on! Orange arms! Hanabichi on stage!
Just like the Fourze final stage, the Drive final stage takes a similar display of all the forms on the stage at the same time, when the Roidmude allies of Heart, Brain, and Medic become the different forms of Kamen Rider Drive. There is technically a stage show exclusive rider here with Kamen Rider Gen Pachiro. Gen uses the mass-produced Mach driver that Jun used in the series to transform into that same mass-produced model of the mock suit that he did in the show, only this time, instead of it being called Kamen Rider Jun, it's Kamen Rider Gen, but the suit is the same, technically a different rider. Ghost's final stage introduced 2 new exclusive suits in it. First was a white version of Kamen Rider Ghost Orei Damashi, which was used by Takeru's son Amayu. Due to the white color scheme, it basically looks like a non-evil version of Kamen Rider Dark Ghost from his summer movie. This final stage was the first one where a gimmick item was actually released from it in the toy line, as Ghost uses the Shinsei-gumi Damashi and the corresponding icon for the form. This icon was actually released at the show, with purchases of a deluxe ticket to go along with the show. Like Forza and Drive before it, Ghost had almost the entire supporting cast transform into the numerous 15 heroic icon forms to essentially recreate all of the Damashis being summoned by Grateful Damashi, but this time in their full-fledged rider forms. In the X-Aid final stage, we get 2 stage show exclusive riders as well. While in the series, Nico only became a ride player, there was an episode where she attempted to use the Bane Bane shooting shot and the Gamer Driver. Thanks to the VR game Kamen Rider Carnival, which is featured in the plot of the stage show, she is finally able to bypass the Gamer Driver compatibility surgery and become Kamen Rider Nico Snipe, which is a female version of the Snipe suit with a pink scarf instead of like that neon yellow one. Game Deus didn't want to miss out on the fun because he returned in the final stage show but gained a rider form this time, using the Moteki antibody to become Game Deus Muteki, a black and purple evil repaint of X-Aid's Muteki Gamer. Game Deus Muteki was also one of the stage show riders to receive a Budapest medal. The next stage show exclusive form comes from the Geo final stage. While this stage show did feature another Oma Geo, that technically isn't a rider, but it is exclusive to this stage show. What does count as a stage show exclusive form or rider is Kamen Rider Geo Waz Armor. This form was achieved using a regular Waz ride watch that is done up in a typical ride watch style and not the original Mi ride watch style. Using this form, it also gave him the Jikan Despear, which is the main weapon used by Kamen Rider Waz. Like the Shinsei-gumi Ghost icon before it, this ride watch used in the final stage show actually got a deluxe toy release, this time as a pack-in with the Blu-ray of this stage play. And finally, that brings us up to our most recent stage show Kamen Rider series. Seen in 01's final stage was Kamen Rider Arc 01. This suit was a red repaint of Kamen Rider Arc 1, using a 01 driver instead of the Arc driver. It also featured a repainted Arc 0 Progress key, which was red instead of the original white. Azu was the one who henshined into this new evil rider, which predated Izu's henshin into Kamen Rider 02 in the real-time movie. The Arc 01 Progress key is scheduled to be released with the Blu-ray of this stage show, and in a historic move, a Candy Toy Soto figure of Kamen Rider Arc 01 is being released this month as part of Kamen Rider Saber Book 5. And with that, that is the history of the majority of stage show exclusive riders and forms seen throughout the many Kamen Rider series over the years. Let me know down in the comments below which one was your favorite, which ones had you not heard about before, who should get more merchandise, and was there any that you think I left out? Also, tell me which of the 3 times that they had used the Kamen Rider Alpha suit you thought was the best time. None of them were, in my opinion. That's all I have for this episode of Toku Topics. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and you can also follow me on Twitter at 2 different places, at LivingRangerKey is my personal account, or at LightningFigPR for all things strictly Lightning Collection. I'll see you all in the next episode of Toku Topics. Until then, Rider Kick!